Michael Strahan is a name that millions of people recognize, not only for his incredible career in football, but also for his charming presence as a television host. Over the years, he has built an image of success, hard work, and resilience. But behind all the fame and achievements, there is another side to his life that only a few people truly see: his role as a father. For Michael, family has always been at the center of everything, and one of the most important parts of that family is his daughter, Isabella. Isabella has always lived a private and quiet life. Unlike her father, she often preferred staying away from the spotlight and keeping her personal world to herself. But in recent months, people began to notice something unusual. She stopped appearing at events, her presence on social media faded, and fans started questioning what was happening. The sudden silence created confusion, and with confusion came fear. Speculation started to spread everywhere, from whispers on social media to gossip columns online. People began to wonder if something serious was going on. And when weeks went by without any word from Isabella or her family, those rumors only grew stronger. It was a situation no one could ignore. Finally, after a long period of silence and endless questions, Isabella decided to break her silence, and when she did, it left everyone stunned. As Isabella continued to remain out of sight, the whispers slowly turned into louder conversations. At first, fans thought maybe she was simply focusing on school or keeping herself away from the constant pressure of public attention. But when weeks turned into months with no update, concerns started to grow. People began noticing her absence at important events where she would normally be seen standing beside her father. Social media became the breeding ground for endless theories. Some fans worried that Isabella might be struggling with her health, pointing out how unusual it was for her to disappear so suddenly. Others suggested there could be a deeper family issue that the Strahans were keeping private. Each new guest spread like wildfire, and with every passing day, the mystery only seemed to get bigger. The media also began to pick up on these conversations. Headlines appeared online with bold statements like, "What happened to Michael Strahan's daughter?" and "Isabella's sudden disappearance raises concerns." What started as small whispers from fans turned into full-blown rumors, repeated and exaggerated across platforms. And as often happens with rumors, the more they spread, the more people started to believe them. For the Strahan family, the silence was intentional, but for the public, the silence only made things worse. People feared the worst, and many felt that something heartbreaking was being hidden. All of this created a wave of worry and anticipation, with everyone waiting for the truth to finally come out. After weeks of endless rumors and countless questions from the public, Isabella finally chose to speak for herself. For a long time, she had stayed quiet, letting the speculation swirl around her, but she knew the moment had come to share her truth. Her silence had only made people more anxious, and although opening up wasn't easy, Isabella wanted to clear the air once and for all. In an emotional message, Isabella admitted that the rumors people had been talking about weren't just baseless stories, there was truth to them. She explained that the reason she stayed silent for so long was because she needed time to process everything privately. She wasn't ready to let the world in on what she was going through, and she hoped people would understand that sometimes silence isn't about hiding the truth, but about protecting your own heart while you're still healing. Her words were raw and filled with vulnerability. She spoke about how difficult it was to watch strangers speculate about her life, while she quietly tried to deal with her struggles behind the scenes. It wasn't easy to come forward, but she wanted people to know that she wasn't ignoring them. She was simply gathering the strength to speak when she was truly ready. The moment Isabella's message went public, it stopped people in their tracks. Fans who had been guessing and assuming for months suddenly felt the weight of her honesty. It wasn't a gossip story anymore. It was real, it was personal, and it came directly from Isabella herself. For the first time, the world was hearing her voice, and it was filled with both pain and strength. When Isabella finally decided to reveal the truth, the atmosphere shifted completely. People who had been holding on to speculation for months finally got the clarity they had been waiting for. She revealed that her health had taken a toll, and she was facing challenges that left her both physically and emotionally drained. For a young woman who had always been strong and independent, the sudden change was overwhelming. She confessed that there were days when she didn't even have the energy to get out of bed, let alone face the public eye. That was why she chose to step away, not because she wanted to disappear, but because she needed to protect herself and focus on healing. Her words carried a weight that touched everyone who listened. She explained how the pressure of rumors made things even harder, but at the same time, she understood that people were worried. What she wanted most was for people to know that her silence had not been a sign of weakness. It was a way of surviving. In opening up, Isabella showed a kind of strength that few people her age could ever express. The moment was heartbreaking yet inspiring. She let people see her vulnerability, but also her courage. Instead of letting the rumors define her story, Isabella took control and told it in her own words. It was no longer a mystery shaped by strangers. It was her truth, raw and unfiltered. For fans, it was difficult to hear, but it also brought comfort to finally know what was happening. Isabella's bravery gave them hope that even in the darkest times, there is strength in honesty. When Isabella finally opened her heart, people could feel the heaviness in her voice. For months, the world had been filled with questions, whispers, and countless speculations, but now the truth was coming directly from her. And what she revealed was far more emotional than anyone had imagined. She explained that behind her sudden absence was a deeply personal struggle that she had been carrying silently. For a long time, Isabella had been facing serious health challenges, something she never thought she would have to deal with at such a young age. She admitted that the journey was overwhelming. Doctor visits, endless treatments, and sleepless nights filled with anxiety. Every day felt uncertain, and every step forward came with another obstacle to overcome. Isabella confessed that the hardest part was not just the physical pain, but the emotional weight it carried. She spoke about the moments when she felt isolated, scared, and unsure of what her future would look like. There were days she wanted to reach out and share her pain, but fear held her back. Fear of judgment, fear of pity, and fear of letting people see her weakness. That is why she chose silence. It wasn't because she didn't trust her fans or didn't care about the world. It was because she needed to gather the strength to face her battle in private before she could open up about it in public. Her honesty was heartbreaking, but it also showed how much courage it took for her to finally speak. Isabella shared that she often read the comments and rumors online, and while some were hurtful, many were filled with love and prayers. She said those messages gave her hope on the days she felt like giving up. Knowing that strangers cared enough to ask about her well-being reminded her that she wasn't completely alone, even when she felt invisible. She also spoke about her family, especially her father, Michael Strahan, who stood by her side through every high and low. She admitted that without his support, she might not have had the strength to endure the pain. Their bond grew even stronger during this difficult time, and it was his encouragement that eventually pushed her to speak her truth publicly. Isabella's revelation wasn't just about admitting to the rumors. It was about reclaiming her own narrative. She wanted the world to see her not as a victim of circumstances, but as a fighter who had chosen resilience over silence. Her words carried a message for anyone listening. It's okay to take time to heal. It's okay to step away when life feels unbearable. And it's okay to come back when you are ready to share your truth. The world finally understood what Isabella had been going through, and although it was painful, it also became a moment of inspiration. Fans realized that the story wasn't about a rumor anymore. It was about a young woman's strength, her fight, and her bravery in speaking out when it mattered the most. When Isabella finally revealed her truth, the world turned its eyes toward Michael Strahan. People wanted to know how a father, who had always been known for his strength and calm personality on television, would react when the pain touched his own family. And when Michael finally spoke, his words reflected not just the love of a parent, but also the vulnerability of a man whose heart was deeply tied to his daughter's well-being. Michael admitted that the past months had been some of the most difficult of his life. As someone constantly in the public eye, he had to carry a smile on screen while privately watching his daughter fight through struggles that no parent. He shared that, as a father, his first instinct was to protect Isabella from everything, from the illness, from the rumors, and even from the harshness of the world. But he also realized that the best way to protect her was to stand beside her, silently supporting her choices, even when the world outside demanded answers. He spoke with pride about Isabella's courage. He described her as stronger than she ever realized, calling her a fighter who had faced challenges with more grace and bravery than most adults could ever show. Michael confessed that while fans admired his career on the field or his success on television, his greatest source of pride would always be his children, and Isabella had only reinforced that belief by the way she handled herself in such a difficult moment. Michael also addressed the public directly. He thanked everyone who had shown compassion during the time of silence, those who sent kind words, prayers, and encouragement without even knowing the full story. He acknowledged that rumors can be hurtful, but he also recognized that much of the concern came from genuine care. And for that, he expressed his gratitude on behalf of his entire family. But above all, Michael's message was one of love. He reminded people that behind the fame, the cameras, and the spotlight, he is first and foremost a father. And as a father, nothing matters more to him than the health, happiness, and strength of his children. He promised to continue standing by Isabella's side every step of the way, no matter how long the journey ahead might be. The reaction wasn't filled with polished TV words or the confident tone he usually carried on screen. Instead, it was heartfelt, emotional, and raw. For the first time, people saw not just Michael Strahan the celebrity, but Michael Strahan the father, a man who loved his daughter unconditionally and wasn't afraid to show the world how much she meant to him. The moment Isabella and Michael shared their truth, the world's response was immediate. What had once been whispers of gossip and endless speculation transformed into a wave of empathy and support. Social media, which had been filled with theories and rumors for months, suddenly shifted its tone. Hashtags began trending, not with questions, but with messages of love, encouragement, and prayers for Isabella's recovery and strength. Fans who had once worried in silence finally felt relief, knowing the truth had come directly from Isabella. They flooded her pages with heartfelt comments, calling her brave for speaking out and reminding her that she was not alone in this journey. Many people shared their own personal stories of struggle, connecting with Isabella's words on a deeper level. Her openness gave others the courage to talk about their own battles, turning what started as a rumor into a much larger conversation about resilience and vulnerability. The media, too, changed its approach. Headlines that once carried bold, speculative statements now carried softer tones. Isabella Strahan speaks her truth, and Michael Strahan's daughter shows incredible courage. Instead of gossip, articles began highlighting her bravery and the importance of respecting privacy during personal struggles. For once, the spotlight wasn't about scandal or curiosity, it was about humanity. Celebrities and public figures also joined the conversation, many sending their support to Michael and Isabella. They praised her for using her voice and showing strength in the face of so much public pressure. It became clear that her decision to speak out had not only silenced the rumors, but also inspired countless others. For the Strahan family, this shift brought comfort. After months of uncertainty and unwanted attention, the kindness of strangers reminded them that the world can be compassionate when truth is spoken with honesty. Isabella's decision to share her story had not only freed her from the weight of secrecy, but had also created a powerful ripple effect, reminding people everywhere that behind every headline, there are real human beings with real emotions. As the dust finally began to settle, Isabella closed this chapter with words that touched the hearts of everyone who had followed her journey. She thanked her supporters with genuine gratitude, admitting that she never expected so many people to care so deeply. For months, she had carried her pain in silence, thinking she had to face it all alone. But after sharing her truth and seeing the world's reaction, she realized that even in her most difficult moments, kindness still existed everywhere. In her final message, Isabella reminded people that strength doesn't always look like smiling through the pain or pretending everything is fine. Sometimes, strength means stepping back, taking time to heal, and finding the courage to admit when you are not okay. She encouraged others who might be facing their own silent battles to give themselves the same grace.